what point are people going to start asking themselves, man, it seems like it's not really a coincidence. Why are so many prominent Republicans wrapped up in this type of behavior? The Republican Party has become the party of child predation. The Republican Party is the party of Jeffrey Epstein. It's just the way it is. It's a party of projection. It's a party of blaming the other side for the thing that they are so desperately guilty of. You just, every time you hear about someone convicted of being a predator against children, invariably it's a Republican. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. This North Carolina county election chairman who has been arrested for, allegedly, it's not alleged that he was arrested, but the crime that he's alleged to have committed is dosing his granddaughter's ice cream with cocaine and ecstasy, MDMA. And this is a man who has been given power as an election chief in this county, a Republican. But first, let me remind you where we are in this country. Just a few days ago, when Donald Trump held his little weird press conference in the White House press room, and Kash Patel got up there and was ranting and raving about how they're stopping child trafficking while Donald Trump stands next to him and looks guilty as all with his face, whatever he's doing with his face, just trying to implode within himself, to make himself so small as to not be seen, as to not be recognized as the very threat that Kash Patel is describing. Remember this moment, and then we'll move on to the North Carolina story.
And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi, your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children.
What was he doing there? He's the representative of the Department of Justice, Donald Trump. Kash Patel is an employee of the Department of Justice, the director of the FBI, talking about how they're going to be holding these child predators accountable. They're going to be stopping child trafficking, all of these vile crimes. They are certainly vile, but they are certainly not being combated by Donald Trump's DOJ. DOJ is now holding secret, finally made public transcripts of meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted trafficker of children, giving her sweetheart deals, possible work release from prison for Donald Trump's decades-long good friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the lover and co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein, his best friend of 15 years. The family of Virginia Giuffre, a victim of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, they had this to say about this meeting, about the Republican Party that is now protecting the violators of children's innocence. This is the article from NBC News. Justice Department gave Ghislaine Maxwell a platform to rewrite history, quote unquote. Family of Epstein accuser says. Virginia Giuffre's family said they are outraged by the agency's decision to release transcripts from Maxwell's bizarre interview with Deputy Attorney General, and they don't say it, but former personal defense attorney of Donald Trump, Todd Blanche. Quote, by moving convicted felon Maxwell to a minimum security country club prison, the DOJ sends a disturbing message that child sex trafficking is acceptable and will be rewarded, the family said Saturday in a statement. Let's break some of those words down before we get to this North Carolina story. Donald Trump's Department of Justice sends a disturbing message that child sex trafficking is acceptable and will be rewarded. Says the family of one of Jeffrey Epstein's hundreds of victims, of one of Ghislaine Maxwell's many, many victims, who is now being given preferential treatment by the Republican Party, by the leader of the Republican Party. So why would we question why there's so many Republicans. It's like this. Look, you find that these predators, these sick, twisted, vile, just sickening abusers of children, they find themselves, they gravitate toward jobs and associations that will kind of extricate them from suspicion. Your Jerry Sandusky types. That's why Catholic priests, they go into that. Oh, no one's going to question. I'm a mighty righteous man of God. No one's going to question what I'm doing. Coaches and little league coaches and teachers and cops oftentimes. It's because they think they can go into it and they'll be camouflaged by their position of trust in the community. It's the same with the Republican Party now. Where do you go if you want to prey upon children? You go to the party that acts like that's their whole job and role and focus is eradicating child victimization. And that's exactly what it appears happened here in North Carolina. Here's the headline from WRAL. North Carolina elections chair accused of putting cocaine, MDMA, in a granddaughter's ice cream. The chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections was charged after Wilmington police said they found evidence he placed illegal narcotics in his granddaughter's ice cream. On August 8th, James Edwin Yokeley Jr., if the story wasn't so serious, I would be sitting here making a joke about this man from North Carolina whose last name has the word yokel in it. And he's a junior. This yokel told an officer that his two juvenile granddaughters found 2 pills in ice cream purchased from Dairy Queen on Oleander Drive. Investigators discovered video footage that showed Yokeley was responsible for placing the pills into the ice cream for both girls, police said. The pills tested positive for MDMA and cocaine, according to an arrest warrant. If you don't know, MDMA is ecstasy. It's also called Molly. It is typically a club drug, a sex drug. That this grandfather, this Republican, what's the purpose of putting a sex drug into your granddaughter's ice cream? Republican. Yokeley didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The girls did not consume the pills, which were sent to a state lab for further conclusive testing, police said. Yokeley was charged with contaminating food or drink with a controlled substance, felony possession of Schedule I narcotics, and felony child abuse, records show. He was transported to New Hanover County Detention Center and posted a $100,000 secured bond. In June, Yokeley, a Republican, was selected by State Auditor Dave Boliak to serve as chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections. At what point are people going to start asking themselves, man, it seems like it's not really a coincidence. Why are so many Republicans? Why are so many prominent Republicans wrapped up in this type of behavior? I mean, we had a Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives who was outed as a rapist of children. The boys he coached while a wrestling coach. Dennis Hastert. Dennis Hastert. Look up Dennis Hastert. It's in their DNA. And again, let's finish where I started. The Republican Party is the party of child predation. It's the party of Jeffrey Epstein. It's the party of Donald Trump. How else would we figure they would comport themselves? What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm right. You can comment below this video wherever you're watching it. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate your participation. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for joining me today. Follow me on social media if you're around on the social media. Don't sign up to do it because that's a nightmare. But I am at Dollemore just about everywhere. I'm not active on the Nazi Twitter site, but everywhere else at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. Be genuine. Take care of one another.